We are live. So, welcome to episode 230 of An American Werewolf in New Jersey. I am the American Werewolf. In the house tonight, we've got Eric from Hey Internet. Eric here. Thank you for joining me once again. It's always good to have you on, man.
Always a pleasure, dude.
Yeah, buddy. The summer is basically set for Stephen King movies all summer. But Eric and I had discussed at various times inserting something here, inserting something there. We kind of remind each other. And Eric's... Well, why don't you tell them about what your plan is for your calendar year for your channel? I mean, you're midway through now, but what was the theme of films you're going to be reviewing this year?
The basic theme for my channel for the entire year is going to be movies that I have never seen. Regardless, why? If I've seen it, 25 years ago and remember jack shit, that counts as I've never seen it. If it's something that you have been saying, you gotta see this, and I've heard about it, maybe seen bits and pieces, it still counts as never seen. So that's going to be the theme for the year.
Okay, so how did that lead you to
tonight?
What we're discussing now? Was this something that I have been nagging you, I think, for quite a while? I might be wrong.
I had gotten the trilogy from a buddy of mine years ago. When he had the funds, he would just randomly send what everybody in the community calls care packages out.
Yeah.
Movies, that we want friends to see. And it's been a trilogy. I mean, there's more than one, more than 3 movies in it, but it's been just sitting on the shelf, collecting dust because, we'll get into it. It's a foreign film. And with me having a child and also working 8 hours in a factory, usually by the time, at least when she was at the younger age, I'd have to wait. Also subject matter. I'd have to wait till she's in bed. And I'm always told to watch foreign films in their natural language with subtitles because you can get the emotion a lot better, especially in horror. And by the time she's in bed, I do not have time to focus. So I said to you, I'm finally going to jump into this franchise because you have said it's really, really good. You have been pumping up and praising independent foreign horror, you and Julia. And I said, okay, it's basically time to bite the bullet, especially since I'm doing this theme. I went out spoilers. I really enjoy the movies we're going to talk about, but I said, you know what? Why not? I went and I bought the 4th film, and as I told you, I had a couple Amazon gift cards for Christmas left over, and I bought the remake and its sequel because I am very excited about this franchise.
Yes. We are talking about Jaume, Balagueró, and Paco Plaza's Wreck and Wreck 2. Some seriously intense Spanish horror. If you're ready to go, shall we get it going?
Please.
Boogity woogity. So it doesn't seem to me, and I thought of this, I've been sick all week with bronchitis. I've been down and I'm starting to feel a little better now, but I've given it some thought, and I watched the first movie this week and I watched the second movie last night. It's difficult for me to think off the top of my head of a better 1-2 punch in horror. And so you could go to something like Aliens, but that cross-references too much with sci-fi. So just in terms of straight consecutive 1-2 movies in a franchise, I'm hard pressed to think of a better 1-2 punch. And it seems that no one, of course, because the horror community is a reliable disappointment at any and all times, ever talking about this movie. You can depend on it. You're going to be disappointed. So, and there we are. And proven by the fact that you never hear about it. You
Right.
never hear about one. You never hear about two, three. There are four of them. You would think franchise that would appeal right to the motorheads. And
I
oh my God, there's four of them. But no.
I never, and to a lesser extent, I've never seen it, but you never even hear about the remake, at least in the circles I am, and
No.
which is surprising because American remakes, either good or bad, has some traction in the community, and even I don't know what people really think of Quarantine, but I still have no one. I have no one in my little circle or online talk about that. And if they're talking about that, they'll say, they usually say that Rec is better. So either way, this franchise is never really talked about.
No, and Quarantine is a worthy film, and I enjoy watching Jennifer Carpenter. If you ever get around, what I'd like to say ahead of time, I have right here in front of me Rec 3 and 4. So if you're ever, when you finish those other two, if you'd like to come back and,
Sure.
just go at it again, let's go.
Sure.
We had discussed Rec once before at the very beginning of this show, the very beginning of the channel with Ryan. He's not really a horror fan, but I would, come on over, let's watch this movie. And it scared the crap out of him. It has some effective tension, effective acting. You have people that, it's a found footage movie, and I would place it up there in the top tier of found footage films. I would place it up there with Blair Witch. I would place it up there with Paranormal Activity. I would place it up there with Cloverfield. Maybe not Cloverfield, but it's in there. It's in that tier. They're in there. I'd say they're all in that top tier together. Quarantine, also good. But wow, just what a fucking film. It's very sparse. It's like 72 minutes.
Yeah,
or something like that.
It's barely an hour and 20, if that. And it flows just as fast as its runtime.
Yeah.
And what I was telling you is because, like I said, if I'm paying attention to the original dialogue, so I'm gonna just phones down because I got to make sure I got to watch to read to see what the fuck's going on.
Right.
I sat down on the couch. The kid was in bed. My wife was in the other room, so I could just focus on it. And it's like we're gonna get into it, but those last, I think I even texted you. I said those last 20 minutes. It's so I said it as a joke, but I'm like, the last 20 minutes, 25 minutes was so intense. I nearly shit my pants because it is nonstop, scary. And I didn't watch this one in the dark, but when we get to the second one, I decided to watch the second one. I was like, it's just as fucking scary.
That's the way to go. That's the way to go, man.
It helps. Oh,
yeah.
So good.
This is a movie that really doesn't stream very often.
No.
Every once in a while, you might catch it on one of the freebie channels. It doesn't really pop up on Hulu or Netflix. Never on Netflix. I think it's too hardcore for Netflix or HBO or something like that. It's usually on Tubi or Pluto. You might catch it, and usually only the first one. But it's just such a simple premise, and you've got this really pretty Spanish little reporter named Angela, and she is part of a two-man crew that goes into a fire department for one night. The name of her television program is While You're Asleep, and she sort of goes around to people who, have this sort of nightlife career. And so while you're asleep, other people are out doing these things. So she decides to visit a local fire department in the hopes that perhaps, although she doesn't wish for anything bad to happen, there might be a call so that her viewers can see what happens when, fire departments, get a call to do something. Is it a fire? Is it a rescue? Is it, some sort of first aid situation? Something like that. Mechanical, I think they said that they have a number of things that they do besides putting out fires. It's very in the fire.
Yeah, I love it. I love it because first of all, she's super cute. And I'm not just talking about physically. I'm talking about just the way her attitude and her body language, stuff like that. And what I love about this is she's talking, basically to the camera, but she is acting like the person, it's the director of photography. But she's acting like that is a person that is part of the film. Right. And you can tell that her job is just so mundane to her You can tell she's just rolling her eyes. Oh, great! I gotta fucking play basketball with these guys to kill time. And I think she even tells. I think his name's Pablo, the camera. She's like, if this is too boring, just fucking cut it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
she's not
She's
snobby.
waiting for.
Yeah.
No, she's waiting for that. She's just waiting for some action. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's not snobby or mean or snooty or anything like that.
Very
But she just
likable.
realizes the reality of the thing of the situation is that she could be sitting there all night and have absolutely nothing happen. She meets the other firemen in the company. It's like a full staff in there at night, just in case something bad happens. This isn't volunteer fire. This is like Barcelona or Madrid or something like that because it happens in Spain.
Right.
She's very warm and friendly. She's very extroverted, these sorts of things. But she quietly speaks her mind like, yeah, this is going to be, I hope this isn't boring tonight. I hope something happens, so we have something to show for the time, it's reasonable expectation. It's, it's like your whole work shift and you're just going to stand there the whole time. That sucks. I've had a couple of jobs that were like that.
She definitely gives off the vibe that, she knows she's doing this to get that bigger break. You know what I mean? It's like you got to pay your dues like a wrestler. You got to perform in front of the gym of 14 people to get up to like the other indies to get up to the big time. So she's kind of paying her dues doing this type of, lack of a better term, bullshit type of news show that no one watches. You know what I mean?
Right.
To get to the better position.
In fact, I think one of the firemen teased her about that. They're like, well, while you're asleep, they're like, who the hell is watching it then if everybody's asleep?
Yeah.
But she's very friendly and everything like that. And, she's meeting everybody. And then, she shoots a couple of hoops with them and this, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden, and I like your idea. Yeah, the guy behind the camera, you never see him.
Yeah,
her cameraman, his name is Pablo. But he is very much a character in the film because he is recording everything. Everything that you see comes through the lens because it's found footage of the video camera that they're carrying with them. They end up getting a call for like a medical emergency or someone's barricaded themselves in their room in this apartment complex, and the shit just hits the fan. I mean, 10 minutes in, it wastes no time. It's very sparse. The script is very lean. There's no fat on it whatsoever. I wish, you could teach a class on this, like on how to script write.
It's so good. What I love is you can tell that scene right there that you got on the screen. She walks in, they're all having dinner, and she's super friendly. She's telling them, no, just go eat. Pretend we're not here, type of thing. And then it cuts to, I don't know, maybe an hour later, time wise. And she's just so bored. She's walking around. It's so empty. The lunchroom is now empty. They're playing the game of basketball with a handful of guys that are there on call. And when that siren hits or the bell, whatever you want to call it, she's at first shocked because she wasn't expecting it, but then she's so happy. She's like, finally, we have something to do. And she's so close to just going down the fire pole with them, but then they're like, we won't be able to get the camera down, so they have to go down the stairs, type of thing. It's a kid at Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
ready to open the presents.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple people playing basketball, but everybody else is asleep. Everybody else is just going to sleep, so you can tell that this has the possibility of just being a complete waste of time.
Right.
But then that doesn't happen, and then all of a sudden they end up at this tenement, well, not a tenement, but an apartment building, and this is where everything when it goes south, it's instantly going south. You have a woman who's barricaded in there and doing a lot of screaming. You've got you've got this cast of renters or apartment dwellers that you meet with the two firemen, Manu and Alex. My understanding is that a lot of this script was improvised off the top.
Did you watch the behind the scenes documentary?
I did not in this viewing.
Okay.
But I used my old notes and just added some things in from this particular viewing. So go on about that.
Okay. I haven't watched the behind the scenes for the sequel, but for this one, I was just so interested in how they made it. And a lot of it was improvised, but what I liked about it and what they were explaining was they shot it in sequence, and they only were able to read that day's worth of the script. No one knew who survived. No one knew who died. And what was really funny in this documentary, the gradual progression of how that reading room gets smaller and smaller and smaller with crew, and then by the final day of shooting, the woman who plays Angela, she even says, here I am, I'm the only one alive, ready to film, and but that made it more natural, because to me, we're now in the same boat as them.
Right.
You know what I mean? We don't know who's going to survive, neither do they. And I think that's a fantastic way of storytelling, but also working with your actors. And this woman here who plays Angela, I think she was a news reporter in real life.
Her real name is Manuela Velasco, and she is an actual television news reporter.
Which really fucking helps, because she knows how to speak to the camera. She knows how to work the little ticks. No, yeah. there's like a scene. No, let me get on this side because my hair looks better.
Yeah,
little shit like that would happen.
It just makes it more realistic. So they break down the door of the person who is barricaded in there. I can't remember her name Conchita, and it is just this foul-looking, bloody, morbidly obese, just blood all down her nightgown, screaming, and just pieces start flying off the board instantly.
Yeah, and what's great is Pablo is not up in her face. We can't really see her very well, but we can tell she is definitely looking unnatural.
Something's wrong.
You can't tell if the red on her nightgown is the design or blood. And when she finally snaps, and I don't know if he's actually the police chief, but when she snaps and she bites him on the throat, this is, how do I say, this is a gory film, but it isn't a gory film. You know what I mean?
Right.
When you get the close-ups,
that's
when you hit pay dirt.
Yeah, they're very brief. The gore is brief, and it's severe, but it's not.
It works.
It's not gratuitous.
She doesn't just bite the neck. She bites, and you see the skin of the neck peel and stretch a little bit, and it snaps off, and then boom, that's it. You know what I mean? It's not gratuitous, like, chewing on arms and shit like that, but it's very effective, which, I think is very smart, because this wasn't a huge budget. So the directors knew how to hide the lack of budget. You know what I mean? But still give you that impact.
With acting.
Yeah.
And a few tricks. Tricks. I liked very much when the shit really got frenzied, that they made the microphone on the little portable camera sort of overload.
Yes.
And anyone who is, familiar with podcasting or, live streaming or anything like that, that, sometimes your mic just kind of, and it kind of muffles the sound or whatever.
Yeah.
Depending on the quality of your microphone. I'm in the market for a new microphone. I've had this one now for going on 4 years. Probably time for an upgrade. Little $30 Chinese Xingyu microphone. And it served me well. But I can tell sometimes in my playback, where the feedback just kind of overloaded. I don't hear it while I speak. But, like after we finish, I'll listen. I'm like, ooh, okay, that sort of tanked there. And so when that happens, it almost becomes completely like this blurred visual. So when the frenzy happens, Conchita attacks the police officer, the audio sort of goes out and it becomes this muffled sort of shrieking. And, you see like these piles of bodies, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Like I said, I wish that they taught classes in how to make movies like this.
Yeah, and there are so many jump scares. Like we're definitely gonna get into one by the end. But when they finally, after the police chief has been, I think he's already been taken downstairs due to his injuries, and then they realize that there's still one fireman upstairs, and it's a little bit of comedy the way we find out where he is. But they're like, I don't remember his name.
Alex.
It's not. What's his name?
Alex.
Okay, yeah, I knew it wasn't Manu, but it was like, where's Alex? And it's behind them, suddenly out of the fucking ceiling, you just the body slumped, and it makes a big thump, like right behind. I don't know if it's Angela or who. It probably is, because we see it on camera.
It's everybody.
But it's just a big thump, and it's like one of those holy shit. I should have expected that because the way the angle of the camera was, because there's a big open space, you know what I mean? And you're
Right, but
wondering where the person is, but your mind isn't putting two and two together.
your attention is so focused on what's in front of you,
Yeah.
and that's a success of the director and cast and the photography and everything like that. That you're not expecting anything additional, especially on a first watch. And the funny thing is that when Alex drops, none of the cast in the actual film knew that was going to happen.
That's smart.
Yeah. So the response that you get initially from something just falling is the genuine article. It's kind of like when all the jelly popped out of John Hurt in Alien and hit like Veronica Cartwright in the face. That reaction is like a legitimate thing that Ridley Scott didn't tell her about. Hold on a second. We've got a comment here. We've got the functioning drunk. What's happening, man?
Hey, Dennis.
Thanks for stopping in. We appreciate it, man. Congratulations. The functioning drunk has kicked off a YouTube channel and it's been a little less than a week or something like that.
He's been around for a while, but we're as of this morning I checked, he's at 28 subscribers, which is a big jump from when I was on his show a week or so ago where he was at 21. He's starting to finally catch a little bit of traction and putting some content out.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the functioning drunk, the link to your YouTube channel in the description as soon as this is over, along with Eric. Give him a sub. He likes to talk about horror, and I think you'll enjoy his stuff. So it's good to support each other. And thank you for stopping in, man. Maybe we'll all collab up sometime.
Next time we talk wrestling, we'll bring him on. He's a big guy who talking wrestling as well.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah. Don't have to tell me twice. In fact, something's coming up this weekend, isn't it? Isn't Cody fighting AJ?
Clash at the Castle, I believe it's called.
Yeah, at the I Quit match.
Yep.
Cody and AJ. AJ's getting a nice little push, man. I don't think he's going to defeat Cody this so soon after how many years, but
AJ's got one more run. AJ's got one more run in him. I think so, though. One more title run in him before he calls it quits. But with take aside with this TNA merger, possibly, I still think they're going to be like a little war for AJ's loyalty, because he was King TNA for the longest time. So I think it's going to be a bidding war. I think that's going to be a storyline they're going to go.
We shall see how it plays out, and I guess more will be revealed on Saturday. And I'm already understanding that some people from other promotions may appear. Isn't it going to be a battle royal?
I think so, yeah.
And some people from they hinted that maybe some other promotions are going to be in the ring for this. So yeah, that would be cool. All right. Hey, what's happening? It's Marty from the Trash Picture Show. He's saying, Pip tweet ahoy. If you guys, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. If either of you want to come in, if you've seen the film, I'm pretty confident Marty has. And Functioning Drunk, if you want to get in here, there's the link. So if you want to stop in, hit the YouTube link and come join us and just shoot the shit. Now, I think if there's a theme to this movie, to both of these movies, it's that don't trust the fucking government.
No, God, no. That's
one of the government is a character in this fucking film, in both films.
One of the scariest shots, in my opinion, and we're still talking about the first film, is it has nothing to do with the infected. I guess that's what we can call them. You know what I mean? Because it's
they're the possessed. What we find out is that they're possessed. I mean, this is 2007, so it's been 17 years. So
well, it doesn't involve the possessed. Angela, she's arguing with somebody. I don't know if she's arguing with Manu or anyone, but it's behind them. You see them putting the tarp around the building, so you realize how serious this shit is. And then when they have to bring in a doctor, I guess you see the guy feeling for the zipper on the outside, and he's zipping it up and zipping it down to get inside. He comes in like with a fucking biohazard suit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that just shows you how fucking real this shit is. They're not playing around. No one's fucking getting out.
No, that's the motherfucker of this movie, really, is that, there's quite a bit of time available for everybody to flee in safety. Well, not exactly, and we'll get to that in a minute. Maybe that little girl. It's too late for her already. So maybe it's
Yeah.
for the best because she was already infected. Jennifer, the
Yes.
little girl Jennifer. But what ends up happening is that without warning, for the police officer and the remaining police officer, the one who wasn't bit, and for Manu, the firefighter, the government, barricades them in under tarp and under gunpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And we see a further extension of this in the second movie where they end up taking some shots at him.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, even if this was just a one-off film, watch it a second time. It's pretty quick, but in between that fucking phone call and for that tarp, for lack of a better term, to cover up this building. So it makes you think, or at least it makes me think, that this building is always under watch for something bad to happen. They're just waiting to, flip that switch to contain it. You know what I mean?
What we find out is that the girl, Jennifer, and her family had their dog get sick. And so, first of all, hold on. What's happening, man? Thanks for joining.
Hey, Dennis.
Your mic's off. All right, well, when you're ready, come on in.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to fix the sound on my.
Take your time. Take your time. Whenever you're ready, come on in. So what we find out is that, this dog has been sick and infected.
Mm-hmm.
We're not exactly sure how, but, it's this thing that sort of makes it go rabid, almost like a 28 days. These things almost look like a 28 days kind of, monster. With the red eyes and the blood and, the
boils.
twitching and the screaming and the just running straight at you kind of thing going on. And that they ended up notifying the government about this. And so the entire building ends up getting barricaded without anybody in the building being informed.
Right.
And so everybody in the building is just on their fucking own. And it's a
so
shit
scary,
show.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I love is no one trusts anybody.
No.
You know what I mean? And they have, this is like, I love this cast. You have the, stereotypical old couple. You have the stereotypical Asian couple who's getting the blame because they leave their door open.
Yeah.
You have, I lack of a better term, I'm going to call him flamboyant. The guy with a pencil thin mustache.
The flaming gay guy. The flaming gay guy. Yeah, we can say that.
He wants to look pretty and make sure he's got the best shot when he's doing his little monologue or whatever.
It's funny because he's like 60 years old. He's like an old fucking queen.
Yeah.
And, he's just, is this my good side? And he looks at Pablo. Is that right, Pablo? He's just laughing with him. But, yeah, he's a great character in this.
You're not recording now, are you? I'm not ready yet,
Yeah. I mean, and then there's the Karen sort of mom, Jennifer's mom, who's, correcting everybody.
Right.
The casual racism against the Chinese family.
Mm-hmm.
All this shit, they eat raw food. I think it's them, and it's this and that and the other. It's just such a great fucking movie. Yep. They've got no A-list stars, and yet it's just firing at all times. What did you think of you've seen this before, man? What's your name? I apologize. What should
Dennis.
I call you?
I'm Dennis.
Dennis?
Yeah.
Hey, Dennis, what's happening, man?
So I jumped on here because I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
So Rec and Rec 2 are found footage films.
Yes.
And I love the found footage film genre.
Right.
But there's one movie that I've watched that nobody remembers or has seen. And I want to see if you guys have seen it. And then I want to know, if you've seen it, did you like it? It's a movie called Area 407.
Never heard of it.
Never
heard of it.
So nobody has seen
Is that the one with an asylum, a mental asylum?
No, it's
that's Grave Encounters, I think.
No. There's another found footage movie about an asylum that's found footage, and it's weird. It's an old fucking sanitarium, and they're holding a fucking. It came out before this. Came out in 2005, I think.
This is a dinosaur movie.
Area 407 is 2012.
Yeah, so this movie takes place. It starts on a plane. They crash into this desert area, and the big gist of it is they're being hunted by dinosaurs.
Oh Lord!
but the government is hiding it. So it's like Area 51, but they didn't say Area 51. They said Area 407.
It's probably better than the last Jurassic Park movie.
It's so good, man, and I don't understand why nobody has seen this movie. Like
I'm gonna look for it.
I stumbled upon it on like probably late night.
How the fuck have I not seen this?
You're the dinosaur guy.
Yeah, this is right up your alley, Marty. Jeez, you're slipping.
Yeah, trash. If you're a dinosaur guy, you gotta watch this movie. Now it's not just dinosaurs. They're on Area 51. It's all fucked up. It's crazy. It's like Gilligan's Island, but a plane.
Oh, and he cut out right when he was going to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah, and what happens at the end is...
Tune in next week and we'll tell you.
Yeah, tune in next week. Yeah, you'll get the last 30 seconds. All right. Well,
all right.
It's been nice having you on. Take care of yourself. Goodbye. No, I'm just kidding.
Love you guys.
I did a screenshot of that. I'm going to check it out.
I'll take a look. It's probably on Tubi.
Mm-hmm.
Probably on Tubi.
The fuck have I not seen that? I know my dinosaur movies and I know my shit. So, like, I should have, by law of averages, I should have seen this fucking flick.
Well, he came in to ask one trivia question, stumped us all, and then left. I like that.
Dennis is full of surprises.
Yeah. It's all good. So, Marty, what do you think of this film? You look like you're part of the rec team. You look like you're up there in the penthouse right now.
I love this movie. I am not a fan of found footage, but this one for me actually fucking works. And it's not a bunch of fucking idiots going through a forest. Hey, trees. It's not someone freaking out that their vacuum cleaner fell over. It's these people are being fucking pursued. Oh my God, the house is haunted. Oh shit, the attic fell open. No, these people are being fucking hunted and pursued and locked into an isolated area. Like anyone says, oh, it's fucking foreign language. Fucking Jesus Christ! Fucking learn to read, man. If you
they're all. It's great how human they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because every character is someone like somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
Every character that's in here, somebody exactly like that. The nice doctor who never seems to bother anybody. Just kind of comes and goes. The Asian couple, struggling with the English or the native language, this, that, or the other. The slightly racist person, that the Chinese lady starts yelling at her. She's like, I don't understand. I don't understand what you're like. You're such a bitch.
I love it's like, well, they cook all that weird food. It's like, yeah, because that's going to turn people into fucking zombies.
Yeah. It's like George Clooney at the end of From Dusk Till Dawn. Were they psychos? They look like fucking psychos. They were vampires.
Psychos don't explode when sunlight hits them, man.
I don't give a fuck how crazy they are. Jesus Christ. So I mean, and all of this is included in this like 72-minute movie. It's just a fucking work of genius that just keeps ramping up. They send in this doctor or the supposed minister of health guy, and we were saying, Marty, the theme of this movie and the second movie, if you've seen it, is don't trust the fucking government because they're just here to fuck you.
An update from Dennis. His computer is really taking a shit on him. He didn't mean to leave, but he's telling us all 3 cheers.
Yeah, thank you, brother. We appreciate it.
Dude.
We'll have to have him on again sometime. Maybe, with some wrestling or a movie of our choice. We'll get him in for one of the King films or something like that. So it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And even like the way that they keep pushing on the police officer. And like he pulls a gun out on them.
Yeah,
because they're all screaming at him. You don't tell. He's like, stop fucking recording and. You can kind of see his point. Like,
absolutely.
You're not helping.
He doesn't know who he can trust because these people are so
Unstable.
paranoid and scared that when you're paranoid and scared, you'd be surprised what the person will do. Especially if they're not getting answers. And then now they know for a fact that they're being fucking contained. You know what I mean? And they're not being told why. That's the biggest problem. They're not being told why.
It's very dangerous, and everybody in there is very reactive, which is exactly what most people would be like.
The other thing I like about this as well, Mike, is another thing that pisses me off during found footage movies is why are these pricks still recording? This makes sense. This girl and this fucking cameraman, they've stumbled onto something big. They've stumbled onto something fucking bigger than them. They thought they were going to be doing a fluff piece on a fucking bunch of firefighters, and now they're like, Jesus Christ. And that makes sense. I hate when, like, in movies where people are recording, they're being chased by a killer or a monster or stuff. Drop the fucking camera. But with this, it works. It serves a purpose. And especially later on, without getting into spoilers, why they have to utilize the night vision.
Well, wait, Marty, you feel free. It's 2007. We're going to go into all the spoilers. We're just going to move around.
Yeah.
You know, if we want to move into the second movie, we can, right now, because the second movie, also, I'll just introduce it. And this is what I loved about the second movie. It sort of runs concurrently with the first movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes place about an hour after the first movie ends.
According to
that's fucking genius.
I think it says on the back of the DVD, it might be just 15 minutes afterwards.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because you hear some type of
15
argument.
minutes from where we left off, taking us back into the
you hear some type of argument between one group of people in Rec 2 that is concurrent to the first film or vice versa, something like that. There's some overlap.
Yeah. And I love, we can just go all over the place with this.
Sure.
If we try to sit here and chronologically map it out, we'll be here all night.
Yeah.
But I just love that in the second movie, you saw, at least briefly, I wrote this out because it's one of my favorite. I think it's my favorite episode of Filoni's The Clone Wars. Old Friends Not Forgotten. I forgot it. You saw all the old Tenet characters.
Yeah.
They just briefly, like Manu is in there. You're like, holy shit! It's fucking Manu. And he's rabid as fuck. You see the gay guy. You see the Asian lady. All these people that have to be dealt on.
I loved how. Because Jennifer's mother keeps saying, my husband's out there. He ran to the pharmacy. Let him in, let him in, let him in. Who's the first fucking character, not counting, like, I guess you'd say the government or the army guys that we see outside the building? It's Jennifer's dad running with a pharmacy bag saying, let me in at the very beginning.
My family's in there. Yeah, my family's in there. You gotta help me.
I love that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That and if you think about it, it's very smart. I mean, granted, it helps that it's the same writers and directors, but again, this is 2 years in between films. They could have just fucking dropped that. No, he's in the movie 5 minutes, if that, very briefly in the beginning. Then the next time we see him, he's already, one of the possessed, and he's taken out super, super quick. But that kind of those little nods to previous films, they're not like Easter eggs. They're part of the story.
They're on point with continuity. They're absolutely on point with continuity.
It's flawless. It's fucking fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's fucking great. I watched it last night, and they go 40 because the second movie starts off. Like I said, we're just jumping all over the place. The second movie starts off with a group of. It's like a SWAT team.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're police officers. They're not like a military special forces team. They have no idea why they're going into this building. The government even lies to them, as to why, they're going in there. And the government is just throwing everybody into this fucking meat grinder. And they don't give a fuck. It's freaky. Like, because you can see their reactions once they start to figure out, like, we're not equipped for this. Like, sorry, you can't leave.
Yeah, great, thanks. Yeah.
And again, the body cam, that works.
Yes.
That works. It's not some fucking idiot walking around the woods. They're cops with fucking body cams, and that fucking works.
And what I was telling Mike after I finished watching Rec 2, and then when he finished last night, I was saying because of the body cams with Rec 2, I felt like I was in like a survival horror game. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like Doom,
a first-person
shooter. Yeah.
When they're going down those fucking hallways, you feel the claustrophobia.
Yeah.
Like I would feel like 10 years ago playing fucking Resident Evil 2, in the police station type of thing. It's very effective. And like I said, if you're watching it in the dark on your screen, you can feel like you're just sitting on the couch with a fucking Nintendo controller.
Sega Genesis. Yeah.
Isn't there one scene where one of the cops, he like gets fucking cornered, so he goes into the fucking bathroom and he's looking in the mirror and he fucking bites the licorice. That's a fucking great scene. It's like,
he
like,
gets cut off. They
Yeah.
get cut off. Yeah. And well, I just love that in the very beginning, the police go right up into the fucking penthouse. And you're right. So that ascent scene is very fucking tense because we, the audience, are aware of something that the viewer isn't. And that's a great fucking strategy. I used to teach that to like 8th graders when it came to writing suspense. We used to talk about this Hitchcock movie. I think it was called Rope. And these two characters throw this dinner party, and there's a dead body in this fucking like huge like chest that they're using to like towel over and like serve drinks off. And everybody, nobody in the fucking cast knows that there's a dead body in there except for these two guys who killed the guy, of course. It's a Hitchcock movie, and to see that again used that way, everybody that's watching knows exactly what's waiting for them in that building, but these people have no fucking clue, and it's just right up to the fucking right up to the penthouse.
Well, right before they go up to the penthouse, us as viewers, especially if you're watching this back to back like I did, they go into that little walkway where you see the blood where the mom was handcuffed to the stairwell, or the door, the sliding door, the up and down type of door, with the blood underneath it. So they're walking in, what the fuck is going on type of thing. And then they go straight up to the penthouse.
Because this is supposed to be some sort of like, like virus.
Yeah.
There aren't supposed to be bloodbaths everywhere. You might find sick and because they make them put the masks on. It reminded me of something like COVID. There's like a rabid form of COVID or something going around. And, you think that, you got to be masked up. And then they start to see like the entire fucking building is just painted in blood on the inside.
And then you have the one guy, he takes off his mask and he says, no, it's not viral. It's just saliva. So that drop line, just in case you forgot, in case it's been a couple years in between films you watch it, you can realize that it's just a simple drop line, and it helps the viewer.
Have you guys discussed the Madius girl yet?
No, not yet. Go right ahead.
I don't know how they fucking did it. Obviously, maybe prosthesis, maybe digital manipulation.
She's terrifying.
Fucking put the shits up me every fucking time.
Marty, I watched. The DVD has a behind the scenes. It's practical effects. It's a man in that outfit. It's all practical effects. It's a funny ass behind the scenes because he's walking around posing like a supermodel and he's in dirty underwear and saggy tits and just looking like an old crone. You know what I mean? Right there. Yes, goddamn. There's Miss America right there. But she is terrifying. I was telling Mike, and this last 25 minutes of this first film is shit your pants scary.
Oh, it is.
You know what I mean? When they're in the penthouse. And at the time when I watched the first movie, I was just kind of iffy on I guess you say the demon possession story. After watching Rec 2, it fits a lot more because we have that character who really is a priest, working for the Vatican. But I'll tell you this. When they're going up and they're getting ready to go into the attic part of the penthouse, when that little fucker, that little kid reaches for the camera. I told you, my daughter's asleep. My wife's in the other room. I'm maybe 2 beers down, so I'm still pretty sober, but I'm starting to get that buildup. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're loose.
I said, "Holy shit! What the fuck was that thing?" And that is a great, effective jump scare. And what's even worse, when I put in the sequel, that fucker comes back.
Yeah,
and he's actually down there leaping on the cops and stuff like that, and they blow him away. So nothing.
The priest blows him away. The priest. Because the minister
off.
They go in with a new fucking. Yeah, the cops go in with a new fucking government official who's not a government official. He's a fucking Vatican priest who's like an exorcist and there to like extract a sample because they want to, the world governments or whatever, want a potential antidote for this bite. Because it's not a virus, of the original girl.
Yeah.
Because the bite is not producing a virus; it's spreading possession.
Yeah.
the bite spreads possession, whether from the same demon spread out into many victims or many demons, we're not sure. But it's fucking scary, man. And at the end of the first movie, you can see, but it feels like you're in the fucking dark.
Yes.
Again, that last fucking act. If it was a normal person, would be like, fuck recording this shit. I'm ditching the camera. But they're in the dark. They need the fucking night vision of the
camera. It made me think of Silence of the Lambs.
Works.
Silence of the Lambs, when Buffalo Bill is stalking Clarice. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's using it to see.
Yeah.
And it's so scary. I don't know if they were really in the dark or not, but you believe that, the Angela character, she couldn't see because the way she's reaching for Pablo and reaching around and just simple shots of that fucking scary beast just walking behind them. And then
lumbering,
But we don't know if it can see in the dark or not. If its eyes adjusted over years in that fucking penthouse, but it's looking around too, and sometimes it looks right at the viewer. You know what I mean? From a distance. These two guys, these two directors, writers, they know how to fucking scare you or raise that tension with just little simple things like that.
Yeah.
And then when she goes ape shit with the fucking hammer.
Yeah. That's the thing I think that freaked Ryan out.
Oh.
Because it's not like, it's just flailing. And
I can't see. Tearing shit up with that hammer.
Yeah. And you feel the ick because you don't want that thing. You feel like it's going to touch you, and you're just like, what the, get that fucking thing away from me. Don't fucking come near me. And it's fantastic piece of filmmaking.
Yeah,
really fucking.
And then again, the way it ends, I kind of knew how it was going to end because I've seen the trailer for Quarantine, so I know
that's a famous shot.
But the thing is, this actress who plays Angela, when she's crawling on the floor, Pablo's already taken out. He's got his skull bashed in. You know what I mean?
Right.
By the hammer. She's just crawling towards the camera. You believe that fear. You know what I mean? Yeah. You believe what this poor actress has been put through. Being scared to death with this fucking thing chasing her, and the fact that we'll go back to kind of like the Blair Witch. Just the fact that they weren't actors at all. They had that believability factor. I believe that this girl was just scared out of her mind before she was dragged away. And that's what sells it because, and what I said it in my review, I love how when this movie starts off, she's all cute and quirky and she's wearing pigtails and this and that. By the end, I'm sure it's done it on purpose. When she gets that strength, when she's telling Pablo, keep filming, she's yelling at people, she's got the ponytail on. She's now all serious and, she's getting tougher and stuff like that. You feel that for her. Like, you're really pumped. Her like, okay, man, now she's ready to kick some ass or at least get some answers type of thing. So you're really pulling for this chick because she's so good. And she's just an everyday person like you guys and me. Right.
And, slowly she's reduced from that just through the fear and the violence, where she's just screaming, and pleading and begging just for some light, in that penthouse. And, it's just, wow. I mean, it takes you for the full fucking ride, man. What a great script. What a great performance. I just followed her on Instagram, Manuela Velasco.
Okay.
So she's still acting. I guess she got out of, I'm sure that was enough. This was done on a $2 million budget.
Mm-hmm.
She turns up again in part 4, which,
No, wait. I haven't seen 3 and 4 in a while, so don't. And Marty, Eric hasn't seen them at all.
All right.
Eric hasn't seen them at all. So we're going to go through 3 and 4, and then he's going to put his videos out, and then we're going to come back to stream on them again. And you're welcome.
Spoil it for me because she's on the back of the DVD, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
I knew she was in
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. I thought you'd seen those.
No, it's okay.
Like I said, she's on the back of Rec 4, the DVD, so I knew she was in it. It's all good.
Yeah. So I mean, they're really. I would recommend them as purchases. I've got 3 and 4. You can probably pick them a very cheap used DVDs. That kind of stuff. They work well.
I think I got them. Each of them were like $10 for me on Amazon.
What ends up happening, and what separates 2 from 1, if you ask me, is the introduction of the children's storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just. Oh, there are no. Okay, hold on a second. Is that?
I was a little worried when we were bringing in a younger cast because that happens a lot of times with sequels. You got to get the young crowd in, and I didn't mind these three actors at all. I thought they did really well. They weren't annoying, they weren't obnoxious. You know what I mean? They were just kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time, even though they were trying to help Jennifer's father get into the apartment complex. I liked them. And one thing go ahead.
I liked the girl. There was what they basically do is they sneak in, like they see something is happening and they think that they can find a way to sneak in.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that one kid that I just couldn't fucking stand, the one who ends up getting slapped in the mouth by that fireman. When that happened, I was just like, yes, smack him right in his fucking mouth, you little piece of shit. But it's a great storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And kudos to that actor because he has one of those faces. He just looks like you want to slap him.
Yeah.
He does. He just has one of those pouty, cheeky faces, and if he, puckers up at you, you just want to pop him one, like right across the lips. But I mean, it's just a really good storyline that they get stuck. Some fireman, is in there escorting Jennifer's father in against police orders, sneaks him in to try to get the little girl her medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And because the police see the children, they end up barricading the last exit that the police didn't. And now, so there's a second group of people that are stuck in that fucking building. And they play it great. They play it great. So you've got now the police, the SWAT team, the priest, you've got these three kids and the firemen, and you've got all the fucking demons.
What I liked
locked in the building, and it's a shit show.
What I liked about Rec 2, I don't know if over, but equal to the original. The original just had one camera. This one has multiple cameras. We have the body cameras. We have the camera that the one kid has. And one improvement I do think, other than when the shit's really hitting the fan in part 2, is there's less shaky cam, in my opinion, in Rec 2. And I know that the shaky cam adds to the intensity, especially in a series like this, when you're actually fucking running for something, and not just staring at trees like Marty said earlier. But I think that helped it flow better. It helped me get to know these characters more. And there is less, in my opinion, there's less attacks in Rec 2.
Yeah.
So you have that little bit of breathing room when that little fucker jumps out and attacks everybody, or Manu comes back, or the dad shows up infected, but he's still got his, Walgreens bag or whatever it is, that type of stuff. So I think that how all the attacks are spread out more so in Rec 2. I think that helps it.
The director gets better shots.
Yeah,
he gets better.
And again, because they're police tactical cameras, it makes sense. They're going to be focused and they're going to be positioned better. So
they're braced against your body. Like I have if anybody has a GoPro, there are things that you can buy that strap that onto your body.
Stops them from wobbling around and shit.
Yeah, it keeps it steady so you can get the shot. There are ones that you can strap, around your head. Or strap to the top of your ball cap or something like that, and you can, do things and that's how, you even have little tripods that you can like clamp onto things. So it's just an improvement. But some of the shots are just beautiful, period. And I wrote that in the notes. Unfortunately, I didn't mention specifically what. The fireworks. One of the boys sets off the fireworks in the corridor inside the mouth of one of the demons.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? And it's just, you're like, I mean, it's absurd, but it's beautiful to watch. As crazy as that sounds, I thought it was. I was like, this is fucking gorgeous. Like, who thinks of this? Like, it's completely over the top. It's outrageous. It's not, I don't know, Dances with Wolves or whatever. But I mean, it's not a Terrence Malick film. But
what you said, you say it's outrageous, but you're not rolling your eyes. Type of outrageous.
Yeah, you could see someone in a fucking pinch going, oh fuck, what did I do? And just lodging a fucking firework into one of these things' mouths.
Mm-hmm.
And when it fucking explodes, it kills her. I think it does. It fucking kills her. But it also shows how inept the fucking children are.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they lock that one cop that gets infected in the building, in the room, and they put that rosary around there, so that'll keep him quiet. And then the demon starts talking in a child's voice, so the kids let him out.
Yeah.
And the fucking girl, she shoots the fucking fireman, and you're just like, oh, like it's just, like their performance was like you. If you
bought
had,
it.
Yeah. I was gonna say
it.
if you had if you told me that was a doc, it would have been a bit of a stretch. But I'm like, fuck, that's really good acting for like little people. And that my opinion has like greatly expanded on that topic since I started doing the show. This is fantastic acting by those children.
Yeah,
and especially the one boy who becomes possessed, the little shitbird.
Yeah, and I what I loved is because I don't remember if you were in the video when I said it, Marty, is when we find out at the end of part 1 that it is a demon possession type of thing, I was kind of iffy on that. That was like a nitpick I had against the first one. The addition to the priest in the second one, I'm all for it. I'm running with it because I like this priest character. I like how determined he is to get this blood sample no matter what. Even by the end of the movie, when Angela shows up and she blows the fucking head off of the I guess you'd say Agent Zero or whatever you want to call it, the scary fucking witch chick.
Yeah.
He's still pissed. Why did you do that? I need the sample type of thing. And that this guy has seen some shit, because if you look closely, he's got a big ass fresh scar on one of his cheeks. So I don't know if that's real or not, but I'm taking it as this priest has seen some shit, and this isn't his first exorcism.
Rodeo.
You know what I mean?
It's not his first rodeo.
I was kind of the same as you, Eric. I was a bit ropey at the whole virus, then it's a demon possession thing at the end. But part 2 built up the lore and gave a bit more backstory and a bit more foundation and steadied that whole kind of fucking subplot with the possession. And I think this is one of the better factors about this as well. It gives you a bit more kind of understanding what the fuck you're dealing with.
And when these people are possessed, sure, they're a little vile and they're tricksters at times, but they're not spinning heads around. They're not vomiting. No. They're not, lack of a better term, they're not contortionists, with their body type of thing. They're just evil. They're going to fuck with you. They're going to have fun doing it, but they're going to win. And they let you know about that. And that's what I think is scary. They have those blood red eyes. Those are terrifying. Like, that's one thing we didn't mention about the first film. When Jennifer goes full on infected, that's scary. And she's rushing at the group. The look that they have, like I said, we got a little bit of blood and saliva coming out of the mouth, the red eyes. Some of them have boils on their face or a rash or whatever. Simplistic but effective. Less is more, like we always talk about on this channel. And it worked. It's perfect.
So, I mean, one of the other surprises, is the return of Angela. Was anybody surprised to see her when you saw it for the first time?
If I didn't see the back of Rec 4 and know she was still alive, I would have been surprised. But again, it wasn't an eye-rolling surprise. It wasn't like, oh, of course she's alive, type of thing. Even though we find out by the end of the movie how it happened. And which I'm all for that angle too. I can't wait to see where that goes. But it wasn't just like, oh yeah, she just happens to show up and save the day, like every action movie cliche that we have.
Marty?
No, I was kind of like, okay, she's back. And as the movie went on, I was like, okay, maybe she survived. Maybe the SWAT team distracted the Maddiest girl. But then when we see that footage of what happens, we're like, oh, okay, that makes a hell of a lot more sense now.
And if you think about it, they're dropping little hints that something's off about her. You know what I mean? She's not happy-go-lucky like the first part of Rec. She's not, scared shitless like the end of Rec. There's something off about her, the way she's interacting, especially with the priest by the end of the second film. I think you can kind of tell they're dropping their little footprints that not all is what it seems with her.
She is putting it together and recovering a little too fast.
Yes, that's what I mean.
But I tell you, even watching it this time, last night I had the lights out, and I knew she was coming, but when she did, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is just fucking great, man.
You got that little silhouette of her in the hallway?
It's unclear, and you're like, and you're like, what the I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is like, Marty, here's something we asked at the beginning, and maybe you can, give your opinion on it. Is there a better 1-2 punch in horror than this? Because I was going to say you could go aliens, but that cross genre is into sci-fi, clearly. That's sci-fi horror. But in terms of
it's also horror to action as well. These are two straight horror sequels.
Is there a better one that you can think of? I'm hard pressed. I've been thinking about it all week. I got bronchitis, so my brain's not 100%.
Very rarely, if I'm going to be a fucking prick, I could just go back and do Dead Cheat and go, Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. But this is something for a contemporary movie that holds up with the original and the sequel that work cohesively. I can't think of a better example than Rec 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. And I'm glad we're talking about it. Here we are on American Werewolf, talking about Rec 1 and fucking 2. It's good stuff.
You should have seen Mike's text, Marty, when he was so excited, that we decided to put because he's like, did you watch Salem's Lot yet? No, I just I just got the DVD or Blu-ray on Amazon. It was cheap. I can watch it, Wednesday or whatever. And then he's like,
you were doing Salem's Lot tonight.
Yeah.
I was like, what can I give a fucking Bradley? He's doing Salem's Lot. And I'm like, we're talking about Rec.
Because he was getting pumped that I was watching, because he texted me on like Sunday or Monday. He's like, it's just Rec 2, ? And we were having this conversation. So he's getting pumped. So when he says, you want to just postpone a week and then we can just talk Rec 1 and 2, I'm like, hey, it's your channel, dude. Let's do it.
Yeah, because that frees you up to not have to screen anything this week necessarily, at least for this channel. I'm more than for some reason I just wasn't in the movie because I was sick. And so, I wasn't in the mood for Salem's Lot, but I'm like, I could go for some fucking Rec. I got, slight fever. I'm like, yeah, that's a fevery kind of movie. No problem with that. And just sprawl on the couch and cover up with a blanket and watch some fucking Rec. And that's what I did. It was fucking great.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still not 100% yet, but I'm getting there. Let's go back to the night vision because we're coming to the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, this isn't a movie that streams very often. You have to, either purchase a rental on your digital service, YouTube, Amazon, whatever, or buy used copies, from Amazon or eBay or wherever you buy your physical media. I would suggest buying it. Yeah. I've got all 4. I don't think really. Maybe I broke $25 before shipping on all 4. So, nowadays probably you can find it real cheap. But let's get back to the night vision. They realize that the night vision works in the penthouse. They have to go back to the penthouse because all the samples that they have acquired as they're being decimated in the second movie have been destroyed. So the only option is to go back up there with the night vision, specially tuned for, not like in the first movie where they're just kind of hiding in the corner, but to physically assault and explore tactically assault the penthouse. And I just thought that was a genius fucking idea, that you had a completely different setup under the night vision than you did under the standard camera light.
Yeah.
Yeah, this again, there's something about these two movies where the final act, as it should be, is the best part of the movie to me. You're already got all that tension build up. And again, this was another surprise. I didn't think they would kill that beast, for lack of a better term. That's what I'm going to call her. I didn't see, Angela blowing his fucking head off with a shotgun. I knew she survived because, like I said, I know she's in Rec 4. But I did not expect that to happen. I thought that creature was going to get the final blow. That creature was going to be the thing that killed the priest. We're talking spoilers. And what I liked about is, like, okay, if this fucking thing is dead, because I didn't know, even though I know she survives and she's in part 4, I didn't know that she was infected and in a different way. So when she takes him out and she is just straddling him, I'm talking about Angela straddling the priest, and she's just fucking with him and just basically saying, you fucked up, call it off, call him in, say it's over. No, say it's over. No. And then she just takes his head and like smashes it on the ground.
Crushes
And
it.
then I don't remember if we see her eyes red before she does that or not, but they got her. You know what I mean? They got her. And then when she takes his walkie-talkie and speaks in his voice.
Right.
Oh, that's so fucking scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so fucking scary because this is a character that we fell in love with in the first movie.
Yeah.
And this is a punch in the fucking nuts when we see what has happened to her. Yeah. And I'm pumped. It's a great fucking twist, but I'm like, God damn it, why did you do that, or why did this have to happen?
Nothing is sacred, and Europeans are making great horror. A lot of places are making great horror. I think the thing that got me the most was what happened with the well that they find in the green light that comes up and pulls that fucking lead police officer in.
Yeah.
And then they flip the light and he's just fucking gone. The well is
Where
gone.
did he go?
What the fuck just happened? You're like, holy shit. I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, what the fuck is that?
That's like what I said. You watch this in the dark. No fucking phones. Make sure you're wide awake. You're not tired from a long fucking day of work, and pay attention.
Yeah.
That's another reason why watch it with the original dialogue. So you have to pay attention to the subtitles. If you're paying attention to the subtitles because you have to read what the fuck they're saying, you're going to catch every bit. And what's also kind of cool is if you're paying attention to the subtitles, when those jump scares happen, they're more effective, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you're focusing here.
You're distracted.
And yes.
If you are a native English speaker and you happen to watch this movie, watch it with the Spanish audio track and English subtitles. That is the best way to go. Do not watch a dubbed version of this film. Never watch a dubbed version of anything if you can help it. There's a fantastic Spanish vampire movie that Julia and I both love called The Third Day. And unfortunately, the only copy that we've been able to find anywhere, and even streaming, is with dubbed English. And I'm like, this ruins a beautiful fucking vampire movie. Horrific vampire movie. And it's fucking ruined. But luckily, we're not in that situation here. We've got 4 rec movies. And I can't think, and I'm glad I asked Marty that question. We can't really think in terms of consensus of really much competition in terms of a 1-2 that hits harder than these two.
Especially a 1-2 that takes place right after each other. The closest, I guess you would say, if we have to pull out of the horror community, Halloween and Halloween 2, because it takes place on the same night. But I think Halloween 2 is just kind of mediocre. You know what I mean? You could get your torches and pitchforks and chase me. I don't give a fuck, saying that. But there's a big difference between Halloween and Halloween 2 and Rec 2. You know,
and there's a consistency with the quality.
Yes.
There's a consistency with the tone and the quality. With Halloween, as you pointed out, Eric, there's a big fucking shit. Halloween, the first Halloween movie is scary and tense. Well, for the time. And then once you came to part 2, it's like, just blood and tits. Let's just fucking go.
Yeah, like why the fuck is that nurse getting in the hot tub with the fucking paramedic? Like, what the fuck is this? I mean, I understand what it is.
No, but I don't get me wrong, they're fun. But this, tonally and quality-wise,
it keeps the quality.
It's seamless. It's seamless.
Yeah. Kudos to these people. Hold on, I'm looking here. Rec was made for $2 million. And I think it grossed 23 million or 25 million. Oh, wait, wrong. Here we go. But the numbers say that Rec 2 had almost a $6 million budget, and it made 18 million. It only made 27,000 in the U.S. because Americans are lazy and they don't want to read. What was it we were doing? What movie were we watching? And Bill was like, "Is this a movie I would have to read?" I'm like, "Yes." Lazy bastard.
I don't remember.
It was something recent too. I can't remember what it was. He's like, "Do I have to read?" Oh, it was 13 Assassins.
Okay.
When we did
Oh,
Kashiniki's 13 Assassins, and he's like, afterwards, he was like, I get it. Like, yeah, you can't watch that in fucking English. That would be a fucking war crime. All right, so, I mean, this movie runs a little later. About two movies. One runs about an hour and 12 minutes. The other one runs a little under 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Very great. I mean, I
The
think
flow,
you can see
even though Rec 2 is 10, 15 minutes longer, you don't feel it because it's still, boom, 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 boom.
No, but what I was getting at was I was going to say I can see where the extra $3 million went into the second movie.
Yeah,
the quality upgrade,
Yeah.
in the shots. Everything's just much more clear and crisp. Multiple camera angles, this, that. You could see where the money went. It was well spent.
I'd be interested to see if someone actually cut the two together.
I'm surprised that they haven't done that yet, but
what?
And the fact is, I'm sure there's a cut out there because bootleggers do this type of stuff all the time.
What are you talking about?
If they cut 1 and 2 together
to make it one full 3-hour movie.
Oh, that's
2.5 hour, 3-hour movie. Yeah.
Somebody was lamenting yesterday, and I didn't realize this, and they said, what we're missing out with the decrease in the purchase of physical media or renting physical media are these sorts of behind-the-scenes commentaries, these audio commentaries that we get that you just don't see on streaming.
Right.
Yeah, that's one thing. The last couple of years, you get vanilla DVDs and Blu-rays with just a movie. There's no if you're lucky, a commentary. If you're lucky, there's no making ofs. I remember being blown away when I got Terminator 2, the 2-disc edition.
Yeah,
and all the shit that was on that.
Yeah.
And it sucks that you don't get that anymore.
Yeah. I know.
Well, remember when Blu-rays first came out, Blu-ray exclusive bonus features. If you have the DVD, you have maybe 2 bonus features. But if you spend that extra $10 on the Blu-ray, you get like 5 bonus features and stuff like that.
Special editions you could buy, or Steel Box. So Steel Box is still kind of a thing, but you could buy, all kinds of extra editions, 2-disc sets. You could buy it for the, the one $9.99, whatever. But if you wanted to spend 19 or 15, you can get, the 2-disc set with the whole disc of special features and deleted scenes.
It sucks. Like, I'm going to use Star Wars as an example, like the prequels. No, hold on. Yeah, bear with me. It's like when the prequels came out, the first prequels came out. They came out in 2-disc DVDs. You had the film on one with a commentary from George Lucas, and then you had a second disc which had like a 90-minute documentary and deleted scenes and storyboards on the DVD. But when you upgrade to Blu-ray, they'd fucking take all that away, and it's literally just the updated edition. Yoda's CGI, not a puppet anymore. But they take all those bonus features away. So what I did, honestly, I found all my Blu-ray upgrades, so I can have them all together, cheap on eBay. But I kept those that second disc from the DVDs and I put it in together because it's like it's just so sad how, and I don't want to. Well, fuck it, I'll say it. A lot of people just gotten lazy and they just want to on their couch. If you're just, it's just
guys, hold on a second, keep going. I'll be right back.
Sure, it's just disappointing that certain movies don't even get a physical release. Like, where I always go to Barbarian. Barbarian still doesn't have a physical release. You got to go the bootleg route, or that there's really no effort put into physical media anymore because people would rather just stream it.
Eric, do you think the likes of YouTube and stuff has made those special features redundant because people can just go on to the Fox website and look up, making of Alien Covenant or making of fucking Prey or something.
I do like. I remember when the first X-Men came out, and they were like, there was like a Fox TV special, that you could only watch on Fox. It's not on the Blu-ray. You had to go to the DVD to get that bonus feature. It's like there's no more love and appreciation because if you want to watch this, like look at MTV. If you want to watch a music video now, you have to go to fucking YouTube. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. It's just disappointing the way that it's gone because I've always loved to see, even in the horror genre, how these movies are made, the effort that's put into it. That's why I said, I told my, get the DVDs of these the quadrilogy, because there is a, you know, there's a behind the scenes making of too. That behind the scenes making of Wreck, the original one, was so cool. That's how I found out these aren't famous actors. This lady was a newscaster and what have you. And it's just like the lack of bonus features. And especially if you love seeing how these movies are made, it's just disappointing that you can't really find it out unless you go on, YouTube, and it was like an HBO special from like 15 years ago and that type of bullshit.
Like, do you remember when they released the Alien Quadrilogy, that you had the documentary sections on each movie, and then you were broke down into like cast. If you want to watch stuff on the cast and how do the characters and stuff, you could watch that. You could watch how they made the creatures. I loved that. I loved like the Stan Winston segment on Aliens. Like, all of that was really fucking cool. And like, that's all fun. I even got the Blu-ray of Alien Covenant because I'm a completionist. I'm not a fan of the movie. And there was visual effects on it, or there was fucking special features on it, but they were bare bones to say the least. And it's just disappointing.
Even the behind the scenes stuff, they used to be like 90-minute documentaries, 30-minute documentaries. Now you're lucky if you get 5 minutes behind the scenes.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Some of the best I've seen, of course, the Lord of the Rings, the extended editions.
That's because it's Peter Jackson. Not everyone.
That's Peter Jackson. I've seen Ridley Scott. He did one for Kingdom of Heaven, where they had like History Channel documentaries for like history versus Hollywood. He's done that for Black Hawk Down, that kind of thing. But you also got the dual audio tracks. Remember dual audio tracks? Where like you would watch the movie, but the director and maybe some actors would be in there talking it up.
Yeah,
that's gone too.
Another like early special feature documentary that was fantastic. Terror Takes Shape, and that was on the Tin DVD, and that was transported from the fucking Laserdisc, and that is one of the best making of documentaries for a movie. And if you're a fan of the Tin, and you've updated and you don't have that documentary, look for the DVD because that documentary is amazing. Terror Takes Shape.
I think it's on the thing's Scream Factory Blu-ray. Okay. I think
I'm ashamed to say that my John Carpenter's The Thing is part of like a 4-part DVD collection with like Prince of Darkness, Thing, I think Village of the Damned. And They Live. So they're all like Masters of Horror, John Carpenter. So I don't have any special editions with those. Maybe I'll have to upgrade at some point.
I would recommend getting that 2-disc Thing Blu-ray. I mean, you could find that cheap on eBay too, but just it's like 90 minutes long. Kurt Russell's in it, Rob Bottin, John Carpenter, everybody's in it, and it's just it's an amazing documentary.
Bottin's such a funny fucker.
He is.
Him going into the office. And like he thinks fucking Carpenter's going to tell him to get out. And he's like, "Okay, show me what you got." And he's like, "Oh fuck, I didn't actually think I'd get this far."
I think the best audio track commentary that I ever heard, or one of the funniest stories I've ever heard, was on Seven, and it was I don't remember if it was. I think it's Fincher and Brad Pitt. Fincher and Brad. So like we had covered Seven twice, and I think the second time we covered it, I didn't watch it. Like I just listened to the audio track because I know like every scene by heart.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to pick up any additional points. And they told this really funny story that they screened it like in New York City, but they screened it like this. They said, "Come see Seven with Morgan Freeman from Driving Miss Daisy." And Brad Pitt from Legends of the Fall. And they said, like, all these 40-year-old big butt school teacher moms, like, showed up to, like, oh, my goodness, we're going to see, this, And they said that they actually hid in the back, like, in the back row, because, these moms aren't going to sit in the back. They got to be right up front to see Brad Pitt from Legends of the Fall.
And it opens up with the fat guy at the dinner table. Yeah.
Yeah. And they said when those ladies walked out, they just kind of turned their heads, because it was, I think they had an agreement with the theater not to turn the lights on. They just let them out. And they said at least 7 of those ladies said something along the lines that they wanted to kick someone in the teeth.
That's awesome.
Because they just felt that they got duped. But I mean, those are just, little gold nuggets, man,
Well, remember, when I was part of the redo, I guess you would say, of 7, and I showed off my DVD of 7.
Yeah.
Remember when DVDs, special editions were so cool? Like the DVD special edition of 7 it's one of the reasons why I won't upgrade it, because it's in the form of John Doe's notebook. And it's 2 discs. You open it up, and it's like the chapters are like written in his handwriting. And
I had a copy of that, and I lost it.
It's really fucking cool when they would put the effort into it. And now you can get like a very kick-ass movie on Blu-ray. All you get is the trailer, and it's in one of those eco-friendly fucking cases, where you have like the recyclable things cut out, so it's easy to like tear the insert and stuff like that just by picking it up. It's just the lack of effort put into physical media nowadays. It's just disappointing. So that's why I say this, my opinions are my own. That's why I'm all for looking for a bootlegger. If I want to get a copy of Barbarian, because they won't fucking put Barbarian on physical media, I don't care that that's bare bones, because at least I can get the fucking movie and have it, just in case for some reason it's taking off streaming.
Yeah, this fucking digital library shit is for the birds, man.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple digital library purchases, and they're from like things that are never going to be on physical media. Like really, like when I interviewed Toshi Osaka, the Japanese film director, he makes those samurai films. Like they're put on Prime, and they're only available in that format. But otherwise, and I do that to support him, because he makes independent films. So I'm like, he sells them for like $2.99, $4.99. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I'm like, yeah, of course I'll purchase it for you. I'm not even going to rent it. I'll buy it. But past that, no, I want it in my hand, man. I want it in my hand. And it's funny because I saw the tweet on that yesterday that led me to bring this up. And it was this guy lamenting about what we're talking about. And it was this Abel Ferrara commentary on King of New York. And he's just in there, and he's like, the only reason I'm in here is because they're paying me $5,000. So all right, let's just talk about this movie. And so like every time Steve Buscemi comes onto the screen, he's like, look at Buscemi over there. Ha, ha, ha. And he just starts like laughing like he's drunk, like he's been drinking bourbon all night. And he's like, look at Walken's on the subway with that girl, and he's got her shirt up because the guy's a king. Look at him right there like that. Look at him grabbing that, that boob right there. It's like so fucking like classic, and sorry, thing of the past, fuck off. And
have any of you guys heard any of the audio commentaries on Evil Dead movies between Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell? No. It's just like 2 kids that went to school, and they're saying it's like,
I don't doubt it. Yeah,
it's like, Sam's a good director, but he's an asshole. You just have to get that 4th slap in my face with the fucking branch, didn't you, Sam? Oh, you're a method actor, aren't you, Bruce? You're a method actor. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
All right. So is there anything about these films that we have not discussed that you would like to make a point about?
I'll just say this. I'm interested in seeing how, because I know Rec 3 is a prequel. I know it takes place at a wedding, and I know that there was newspaper clippings. Don't spoil it. I know there was newspaper clippings in the Penthouse about a wedding, so I think that will tie into it. But I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen with the Angela character, because I do know she wakes up on a boat. But after seeing how this creature possessed her, it didn't just possess her by biting her. It spit like some gigantic fucking
like larva
or slug or something down her throat.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, though. I'm assuming it's CGI, but the way she reacted, the way that slug looked going down her throat, and it's a good 5-second shot, and you see her throat moving. It makes your stomach turn a little bit.
All right.
Now I'm wondering where we're going with this. So,
like I said,
it's a good cliffhanger.
When you get those 2 done, make your videos, and then let's get back on here and talk about them. Marty, you're welcome to join us, of course, when we get around to it in a few weeks.
Sure.
Whenever Erica can make the time. Okay. Marty, was there anything you wanted to discuss?
One question. Do you think we would have gotten this film if it hadn't been for Danny Boyle's 28 Days Later?
It's a good question.
I don't know.
It clearly had some. I mean, you could see some similarities there.
Oh yeah. They're like. There's a lot of 28 Days Later. There's some aliens in here, and definitely in part 2. Cronenberg Shivers with that parasite kind of creature. There's you can tell the director is a horror fan and a movie aficionado.
They're two directors. They're two directors.
Yeah, and like one thing again, but for better or worse, I think Danny Boyle's 28 Days Later and Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead are always brought up as, and Shaun of the Dead are brought up as part of the zombie renaissance, but this is never mentioned, and I think that's kind of.
I'll tell you what. This is not a knock against 28 Days Later. I'd rather watch either Rec 1 or 2 over 28 Days Later.
So would I.
And I think it's because there's no dragging, there's no lag, and in my opinion, 28 Days Later is put up on this pedestal. I prefer 28 Weeks over it because there is a lot of lag, in my opinion. I mean, there's reasons why in the movie, but right. Rec is just like balls to the wall, beginning to end, and same with Rec 2. I don't put it this way. If I get up to like go to the bathroom or get a drink of water, I'm pausing Rec. Right. If I have to get up to go to the bathroom or get a drink during 28 Days Later, I'm okay with not pausing it. You know what I mean? That type of thing. That's how invested I am comparing the two.
I get what you're saying. I think the movies are two very different beasts. 28 Days Later is one of my favorite horror movies, and I can understand. I like the kind of the two kind of terrifying aspects about 28 Days Later are the infected and the kind of desolated landscape of the UK. Yeah. And that plays into the isolation and the quietness, and I can see why that mightn't gel for everyone. But yeah, no, Rec is definitely a more fast-paced and more kind of kinetic.
Well, I just looked. 28 Days Later is almost 40 minutes longer than Rec.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's an hour and 53 minutes. Rec is like 72 minutes. So you're literally adding, about 40 extra minutes for all the walking and the talking, and they're bonding. And I love Brendan Gleeson. There's a little bit of melodrama in there. There's a little, I'm not a director. I'm not making any movies. I get it, but yeah, the Rec is much cleaner. But I can see the inspiration. It's like if you took 28 Days Later and just stripped it. You just stripped it and pulled out all the air conditioning and the whatever,
you cut
the radio.
The
fat. You just cut all the fat right off of it. It's just nothing but meat. So it's fucking great. All right, let's get to the part in the stream where we rate these films. We haven't done a twofer in a long time, but this channel has a rating system that goes from 0 to 5 up by halves. So 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, all the way to 5. So 0, for example, would be I'd rather pick a scab off my knee and eat it than watch this movie again, all the way to 5, which is this is the journey, this is the destination, this is why I watch films in the first place. Now, what I'm going to do today, let's get... Is it fair to ask for one score for both films? If you say it's not, we can do separate scores.
I think they're two different beasts. I think we should do two different scores, to be honest.
Okay, then I'm going to ask for both scores. When I go to Eric, give me both scores, Marty both scores, and then I'll give both scores instead of doing 1, 1, 1 and then looping around again. Eric, what do you got for 2007's Rec?
2007's Rec, since we're giving both scores, I'll just say it's ironic that I say we should give two separate scores, so I'm giving them both a fucking 5. You know what I mean? As you say, sometimes with your descriptions, you say, is this cinema? Well, today you said, is this why we watch movies? Absolutely. These two movies are why I watch them. I love the characters. Even Pablo. You never see fucking Pablo in the first movie until he's dead. You know what I mean? I love the characters. I love the isolation. You're stuck in this building with them. They can't escape. Neither can you. The different uses of the camera, whether it's one camera or multiples in the second film, it's gory, but it's not gratuitous. And both finales, like I said before, jokingly, they're shit your pants scary, especially if you watch it in the dark and you're focusing on the screen. The jump scares work. They're creepy infected when they're just the regular people. When that little kid pops out, I keep going back to him. He scares the shit out of me. The final beast, what we're calling her, great. I was iffy on the explanation that it was demonic possession in the first one. Nitpick. By the time we have the priest and with the backstory, like Marty said, I'm all for demonic possession. It fits. And what I love is no one's safe. It's like, it kind of fits in the summer of Stephen King, because what I've always said is King gets you to love his characters and he puts them through hell. That's what we have with these characters in Rec. You love them all for different reasons, and then they're put through hell. And then when the ones bite the dust or become part of the infected that you don't want to happen, you're pissed off. You know what I mean? But in a good way. When as a movie maker, it's the right choice. So 2 5s, well deserved.
All right. Sounds good to me. Marty, what do you got for us? Both films, first Rec and then Rec 2.
5 for the first Rec. It just fucking winds up and never stops. And once you get to the Maddiest Girl at the end, you better have a fucking second pair of pants at fucking the ready, because you're going to be filling them. Rec 2, 4.5. One thing I did find was when it was cool to introduce the SWAT police. I did think the introduction of weapons, guns, like Aliens, the terror was reduced slightly, but not to the same extent. Aliens is an action movie. This isn't an action movie. But there was jeopardy there, but it was kind of lessened by the presence of these fucking armed cops. Not that the guns did them much good, but it just, for me, is like, okay, they got guns, so it's not as nail biting as the prior one. That's just my opinion, though.
Okay, all right. I'm going to go with a 4.5 for each. 4.5 for each. 5 we're straying into, for me, we're straying into Arrival territory. We're straying into like Hereditary sort of territory. Now, it's very hard to find it's very hard to find a flaw in these films. But then and maybe this is the wrong way to look at it, but it's the way I'm looking at it. If these are the movies that I'm giving 5, does this movie sit in those categories? And I'd have to say no. There are other things that these other films have but it's fucking close. It's really fucking close. And I mean, I think in this particular setting, the things that make those other movies a 5 would lower the score of these 2 films. And yet at the same time, I can't get to 5. I can't get to 5.
Here's a justification for me why I give them both 5s.
Sure.
You know me, especially since really becoming a part of this podcast, less is more is one of my biggest things now. They do a lot with a little in both of these films. That's a major point with me. And honestly, I said it in my first video for the original Rec is, granted, the first one is 2007, the second one is 2009. These are some of my favorite and best horror films that I personally have seen, because I'm slow on the boat with a lot of, air quotes classics or whatever you want to say. That these are some of the best ones I've seen in a long fucking time. I'm sick of I love them. I'm sick of the slashers. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of that. This was a wonderful breath of fresh air. And this is something that I will return to, at least these 2 as of this moment, for multiple viewings. This isn't something that, okay,
one and done.
Friday the 13th 3 is on because I'm folding laundry. You know what I mean? On Sunday afternoon. No, if this is on, I'm not talking to nobody, and I'm watching it. So that's why I'm justifying it as these first-time watches as 2 5s.
Sounds good to me, man. Sounds good to me. And I'm glad that you guys are there with those scores, and that we're within a half point of each other at any given moment. So I feel like we're pretty much parked in the same garage.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, plug something.
Okay, YouTube channel is Hey Internet, Eric here. I've already stated it's nothing but movies I've never seen for the entire year. I've already stated that I'm going to go through the Rec and Quarantine films. I'm gonna... What's up?
Let's take a quick minute and talk about Quarantine.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, Marty, you still good to go?
I haven't seen it. I know Jennifer Carpenter's in it, but
okay,
it's probably shot for shot.
Yeah, I haven't. I've never seen it either. So
let's hold off. Let's hold. Okay, continue then, Eric. I'm sorry for the interruption.
No, that's fine. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to promote Dennis. You know, he was here for a few minutes. Dennis from the Functioning Drunk podcast. I met Dennis maybe a year ago. We became good friends on X. He's had many podcasts before, but this is one that he is continuing on. He also has a YouTube channel, The Functioning Drunk, with an exclamation point. He does video podcasts like we're doing here on it, but he is really pumping out the content with shorts. He talks about food. He talks about sports. He talks about movies. He talks about anything going on in his life. He literally, even though he had to leave because of, his computer problems, as we are speaking now, he literally just uploaded a short talking about that movie, Area 407, on his YouTube channel. So I highly recommend showing Dennis some love and subscribing to both his podcast on any audio platform. I'm going to be a frequent contributor to that, and also the YouTube channel. You know, he's at 28 subs. I'm trying to get him by the end of this month. Let's try to get him to at least 50, because it's great content. It's a lot of fun.
Is he on Twitter?
He's on Twitter. Yeah,
I'll plug the shit out of him then. I'll plug the shit out of him then.
Yeah, he's on Twitter. I think it's FD Podcast 69, so it's easy to remember on Twitter. But let's try to get Dennis to 50 YouTube subs by the end of June.
Got 2.5 weeks. Shouldn't be a problem. Yep. All right, Marty, what do you got for us? What's going on with Trash Picture?
I have a trash fire coming up for Jurassic June with Jen. It's Baby Legend of the Lost, a terrible Disney movie.
I remember that as a kid.
A Disney movie where Sean Young fucking shows her fucking baps. Have it at what you will. I
remember my mom loved that when I was a kid. It was a frequent viewing in our house. Yeah.
Oh God.
And the other thing is my review for Sting went up, and unfortunately, because for Sting, it's actually a really cool fucking horror movie.
Sting,
it's about
Sting.
Oh, yeah, spiders.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't leave any comments on it because I put up the only still images I could get was of the main actress, Charlotte, played by Alia Brown, who's a minor, because she appears in the fucking movie more than the spider.
Oh, okay.
And basically the comments were switched off because she was a minor. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? So yeah, that review's up there. You mightn't be able to comment, but if you like what I gotta say, leave a like.
Marty, you know what I do? If I record something, especially if I'm doing relevant content, not like this, I'll just put a photo up from the movie poster or something like that. I'll actually take the first 10 seconds of the video that I'm recording and just give it a thumbs up like this, and then I splice that image out and use that as my thumbnail.
Yeah.
No, so I could, it could be like, if you're getting a spider, you could be doing this, or something like that. I'm saying that will unlock your comments.
Yeah, no, it's just a pain in the arse because the child appears in the movie more than the fucking spider. So I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's not you that's fucking it up. It's other people that are. You know what the problem is.
Yeah.
So what else is going on besides that?
That's about it. I have a bunch of figures I'm going to be reviewing, and I might do a stream on Gears of War. If you're a video game nerd, I'm my video game stuff is actually getting quite popular, so I might fucking veer off in that direction for a while.
Nice.
But that's about it.
Cool.
All right, sounds good. This channel will pick up with the Summer of Stephen King next week. We're going to return to what we should have done or what we were going to do. Let me rephrase that. This week, we're going to look at Tobe Hooper's Salem's Lot, which I'm very much looking forward to. Yes, exactly. I have my copy right here. So we're good. I think some extra people, because they've been given the benefit of a little bit extra time, might join us. Maybe we'll get Bill in there. Marty, you're welcome to join as well. We're going to finish out the Summer of Stephen King. The guy from Barry Vaughn over in Alaska from Exorcist Reviews, he wants to jump in on a couple, so maybe we'll get him in on this. And then, of course, once Eric gets to the third and fourth Rec movies, we'll be back here to stream about those.
Yep.
Once the summer was over, I was thinking about this. I was thinking about using September. We go after Labor Day here in America. I was thinking about using September serial killers. and looking at some serial killer films that maybe we've never gotten to Silence of the Lambs. We've never gotten to that. We've never gotten to American Psycho with Christian Bale. And maybe I'll take one or two requests or something like that along the lines to fill in to close out the month, one a week. And then for October, the theme will be haunted houses and ghost stories. So there's going to be a lot of fun talking about those. Last October, it was witchcraft. That was the theme. So we had a good time with those. So I've got it mapped out almost until we get till November. So yeah, looking forward to getting into some fun content.
And you and me, we've discussed, a couple palate cleansers during this long summer of King that we're going to throw in. Yeah.
What were we talking about?
We did say we're both, we're going to do the next two Wreck movies. We're also going to do Thomas Jane and The Punisher.
That's it.
You really wanted to talk about that one.
I want in on that.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. My thanks. And I'm going to put the link to the description for Eric, for Marty, and for the Functional Drunk in the description. So give those guys a sub, give their content a look at.
Dennis just gave me a text message. He says, thanks to you two guys as well for the support.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for him to be here. My thanks to everybody that was here tonight. You take care of yourselves. We will see you all in the next video. All right, take care, everyone. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye.